South Korea says it hopes better ties between Washington and Pyongyang can pave the way to meaningful dialogue. It comes as Seoul reviews US President Donald Trump's call to substantially scale back military drills with Seoul. The presidential Blue House says it will continue consultations with Washington on military cooperation, including the details of the exercises. Mr. Trump had directed the Pentagon to substantially reduce the drills. He cited their cost and Seoul's refusal to join US efforts on Iran and what he described as his good relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong Un. The annual Ulchi Freedom Shield exercises began today as scheduled and will run until 27th August. Around 18,000 South Korean troops are taking part. The drills are designed to strengthen readiness against what US and South Korea see as evolving North Korean threats. But the exercises are also facing opposition at home, with protesters rallying in Seoul, calling for an end to the drills. The drills also come at a delicate time for inter-Korean ties, as President Lee Jae-myung seeks to ease tensions and reopen dialogue with Pyongyang. And for more on this, we're joined by Nick Harper, who's following the story for CNA live from Washington, D.C. Now, Nick, these drills have been described as central to the US-South Korea alliance and also to regional stability. So how does Mr. Trump's order then affect America's defense posture in this region?
Well, really, Angela, it has the potential to significantly undermine the US-South Korea relationship and undermine America's defense posture throughout really the whole of the region. A number of reasons for that. But also bear in mind, South Korea's military preparedness is at stake. Remember, these joint exercises are meant to strengthen South Korea's readiness against a potential North Korean threat now or in the future. And getting those 18,000 South Korean troops ready is all part of what's meant to take place over the next week and a half. Scaling back those drills will likely damage coordination between the two allies. It'll slow down South Korea's ability to take on more responsibility for its own defense. And it will weaken deterrence, because part of the reason these drills are held annually is as a show of strength, to show that South Korea has the continued backing of a strong overseas partner, the United States. Without that, it certainly undermines things and puts South Korea in a much weaker position. Now, Donald Trump says he doesn't want to send North Korea a signal that is totally inappropriate and hostile. But by reducing these drills, it could in fact send a signal to North Korea that South Korea is now in a much weaker position with less support coming from the United States.
Well, meanwhile, at least one lawmaker has called the reduction short-sighted and a mistake. So how much political concern is there in Washington about the scaling back of these exercises?
That's right. Senator Mark Kelly, a Democrat from Arizona, saying that hollowing out these joint exercises is short-sighted and a mistake. Because Democrats are looking at this and probably wondering who's next, which other partner or ally in the Asia-Pacific region or elsewhere could be next on Donald Trump's list. There has been a question, I guess, for some time about whether President Trump in his second administration has been too focused on the Middle East, with Gaza and now Iran, and as a result has perhaps neglected Asia. This order to substantially reduce the drills with South Korea doesn't suggest that this is a president looking to a long-term strategy for Asia, and that will worry Democrats who know that strong South Korean relations, largely to counter North Korea, have been a bedrock of US foreign policy for decades. That idea of short-sightedness, presidents before Donald Trump have looked ahead to bolster not just relations with South Korea, but to bolster its military and bolster other military alliances in the region. And that's important for regional security, by extension global security, and of course US national security. Donald Trump's decision sends a very different message, though, to the region, a message that no recent US president has sent, that he feels it's appropriate to scale back rather than ramp up cooperation with that key ally.
Nick, thank you so much for that update. That was Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.